Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining. Today, I'm with Fiona Preston and Martina Smythe. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. For me, that is the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. I hope you're all feeling a bit lighter after Premier Daniel's announcement on Sunday of the loosening of some restrictions. I know we still have a way to go, but it certainly feels like a weight has been lifted and hopefully the worst is over. To recap Sunday's announcement, in Metro Melbourne, the 5-kilometre radius has been increased to 25 kilometres, and there is now no limit on time for exercise and socialising outside. The outdoor lap swimming limit has been increased to 30 people at a time, or 1 person per 4 square metres, whichever is fewer. In response to this change, we released additional bookings on Sunday night for all open outdoor pools to stay in line with government restrictions. And I'd like to thank all those involved in making this change so quickly on Sunday. Now that the 25-kilometre radius has been introduced, even more people can access our swimming pools, which is just really great news. It was also announced that indoor pools may be used for one-to-one hydrotherapy. Currently, a few of our indoor pools are exploring this, but nothing is definite at this point. And finally, for Metro, skate parks and tennis courts may reopen. At the Y, tennis courts opened this week, and our Metro skate park teams are currently working through how to manage the density restrictions. In regional Victoria, indoor swimming lessons are now permitted for those aged 18 and under, with up to 20 people permitted at a time. Our regional sites are working through the details and re-engaging with families who have done swimming lessons with us in the past to confirm places. Gymnastics in regional Victoria is also now open for those aged 18 and under, which is really exciting. In the last 24 hours, there were 5 new cases, bringing the rolling 14-day average in Metro Melbourne down to 6.1. If things continue the same way, the Premier has said that we may be able to move to the next phase of loosening restrictions from the 1st of November to this Sunday. But as he explained, it's likely that the new restrictions would not come into effect until a few days after this Sunday's announcement. And while this is really exciting that we're making great progress, I guess the elephant in the room is that we unfortunately still don't have clarity on when gyms in Metro and regional Victoria and swimming lessons in Metro Melbourne can reopen. In the reopening roadmap released by the government a couple of months ago, November 23rd is the date gyms are currently scheduled to reopen, but it is my hope that we can continue to make the progress we've been making. This date could be hopefully moved earlier. I guess our reality is that the virus hasn't gone, and we certainly expect local outbreaks over the coming months and years ahead, like in the news today, the North outbreak. Quite frankly, we need to be prepared to live and work with COVID normal for a long time, at least until there's a vaccine. And if there is a vaccine, we know it will take some time to deliver this to everyone. So on that note, please be assured that when there is a vaccine and it can get supplied to us, we will make this free to our staff and as easy as possible at your workplace, like we've always done with the yearly flu shots. During lockdown 2.0, we've worked hard to take stock of our business and our business strategy to ensure the survival of the Y. We've spent much of this year finding ways to survive and starting programs of work like people systems integration, virtual Y, as well as undertaking a complete strategic review of the organisation and all our sectors. Most of our businesses have been closed since March, and while we're pleased to see outdoor pools reopening in metropolitan Melbourne and even more programs regionally, we still have 66% of our staff on stand down. We are well supported by our local council partners as we navigate through reopening under government restrictions, and we are really committed to growing our business in recreation into the future. However, the financial impact of the coronavirus has been significant. And one of our key goals at the moment is to be in a position to break even, so we have the means to focus on our recovery. And on that note, I would like to report that in the last financial year, that's the year ended 30th of June 2020, we only had an $88,000 loss. And so far this year, we have managed to nearly break even. And this is really important because when we're able to get back up and running, we're going to have to spend a lot to get ourselves back to where we were before. It's almost like we're starting over again, and it's going to be tough. We know that all other states in Australia have had JobKeeper through their recovery period, and we're still hopeful that Victoria will also get some additional recovery funding, but we can't rely on it. We really need to rely on ourselves. And so at the moment, it's a fine balance we're working through with the aim that the Y will be what it was once again. We all want that, whether you're in the board, our partners, our communities, and of course you. So it's therefore with much regret, we've had to make some more hard and yet necessary decisions including some further roles redundant to ensure our long-term viability. I really want to emphasise that this in no means is a reflection on any individual's performance. Everyone has been outstanding, and I genuinely thank everyone for their commitment and performance. I also know this is difficult news to hear, and I'm sorry to have to deliver it. Now, in terms of the process, each impacted person has already been advised that their role will not continue. In addition, team members of affected people have also been advised. The vast majority of people impacted have also already been offered a redeployment opportunity. Regardless, this is a difficult time, and I'd like to reiterate that we're here to support everyone as much as we can. Those impacted have the choice to be on extended redeployment until the 28th of March, as this coincides with JobKeeper. This will obviously provide additional time to seek alternative opportunities within the Y or, of course, externally. The roles affected are in shared services, including payroll, risk and business development, recreation and youth services. While we have to make these changes, it doesn't mean these areas are any less of a priority. It means we'll just be undertaking things using a new approach. Fiona's now going to take you through more detail on recreation and the changes to recreation, and Martina will follow with youth and what we're doing in terms of people support. Over to you, Fiona.
Thank you, Carolyn, and hi everyone. And yes, I am sitting in my car and I tried to make the background as attractive as possible. The exciting thing I've been doing today is to actually be out in a site, meeting real people and seeing their full length, not just as far as the desk goes. Look, I want to start with sharing how excited we are to be able to now say confidently we're on the road to recovery. It feels like the veil has started to lift, even if slowly, and there are glimmers of hope appearing. If there has been any question as to how keen people would be to return to our facilities when they can, that doubt has been well and truly eroded as we've seen huge demand for outdoor lap swimming in the 2 weeks since reopening. Happily, from Monday, we were able to open additional spaces in outdoor pools, as Carolyn said, and we have also seen a reduction in customer anxiety created by the challenge of securing a spot. As you know, though, sadly, our gyms, stadia and indoor aquatic centres have been effectively closed for over 6 months now, and they still are. We know our member and patron habits and circumstances will have changed. Clearly, recovery is going to take some time. Customer research, sorry, there's a truck going past. Customer research conducted back in May after shutdown 1 told us that 46% of our customers said they were anxious about returning when restrictions lifted. Additionally, 40% of them would feel unsafe exercising in groups after gyms reopened. We've moved on significantly further since then, through a second wave of COVID and a second, even longer period of shutdown. We don't know yet just how patrons will feel about exercising in groups indoors again and how they will respond to the COVID-safe measures taken to comply with all government restrictions and requirements. With this in mind, we are also reviewing our own processes and capability to ensure we can provide the best experiences to our customers efficiently and, importantly, safely. Our Vision 2025 includes a key focus on our customer. We need to set ourselves up to recover well and rebuild our services, programs, and membership through the right roles with the right focus, with the ability to confidently adapt our operations to the changing environment. In the last 3 days, a number of individuals across recreation have been advised of changes to their roles as well that will create greater role clarity and bring the customers back to the heart of what we do in centre. You have probably heard of Project MAP, which commenced prior to COVID-19, and its impact now has really highlighted the need to make these changes. We want to know that as we reopen our doors, our managers are managing our businesses and our customer-facing staff are doing everything they can to keep our customers safe and our facilities in their best condition with the support of their managers. Underpinning principles were developed and agreed across recreation, including rostering based on demand, leader coverage in centre for at least 80% of operating hours, and having no more than 7 layers between CEO and our customer-facing team members. These principles will also result in changes that will see all leaders being closer to you, our people, and our customers, providing greater support in improved oversight of risk and operations and greater opportunity to support your development and career progression. The changes are delivering consistent role titles that make sense to you and to our customers. Clearer career pathways, providing whole of centre leadership experience that builds the skills needed to become our future managers will be core. We're setting up leaders and you for success. We'll remove administration and direct service tasks to create time for more coaching and leadership. And in addition, leaders will be scheduled across all open hours, including nights and weekends, to best support our customers and you. The year has been challenging so far. Where roles have changed, there will be details to work through and probably further questions to resolve. But I'm committed to taking the time to answering all of your questions. Thank you to all of those managers who have shown genuine care, empathy, and clarity in helping lead this change. Exciting times ahead for the Y and for our customers and council partners, and I believe for you. We're ready for whatever it looks like after government announcements. I'm now going to hand over to Martina. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Fiona. Hi, everyone. I know this has been a really tough week in our business, and I just want to let you know that the People and Culture team are here to talk with you if you need. So please make sure you reach out to us or your manager or your peers, and remember to take care of yourselves and each other. The changes in the youth sector are in relation to the Rebuild Best funding. Unfortunately, the Department of Justice decided to cease the funding in April, and we have been actively working with the 4 roles impacted. We will work with these staff and try and find them suitable alternative roles within the Y. In relation to the support of our people, as you know, the well-being of our people is paramount, and I'd like to assure you all that the support for the impacted people is happening across our organisation. Any staff member impacted has already been advised that their role will not continue. In addition, team members of affected staff have also been told. We will be providing a range of services to support our people affected, including each impacted staff member will have the choice to be on an extended redeployment until the 28th of March 2021 and will continue, if eligible, to receive JobKeeper. This will provide additional time for them to seek alternative opportunities within the Y or, of course, externally. Should anyone find employment outside of the Y, they can choose to leave at any time with their full redundancy entitlements. We are engaging an outplacement agency that will undertake workshops to help with various resume building and interview techniques. And as previously, there'll be LinkedIn Learning and an extension of the staff and volunteer card. All impacted team members and their families will continue to have access to the EAP program until the end of the year or beyond if needed. And remember that this is also available to all of us and our families. We will also be working with our internal Y networks and a broader external partners to uncover opportunities for impacted staff. In regards to our previous restructure in June, the majority of the staff impacted are still working through their redeployment while receiving JobKeeper, or some have found exciting new roles externally. I'm sure there will be questions on these changes, and so now we'll open up and answer as many as we can. So back to you, Carolyn.
I nearly forgot to go off mute. Yes, there's a couple of questions. So how has the foot traffic been since outdoor pool restrictions were eased over the last 2 weeks? Yeah, look, great question. Pretty much we offer outdoor pool spots 2 days in advance, and they are being snapped up within 3 to 5 minutes. So there's huge demand for them. We are having around about 3,000 people and spots every day, as I understand from some amazing analysis that has been done by the recreational managers. So it's absolutely huge demand. Next, will all YMCA staff get a new staff and volunteer card? And when will we have free access to resume? Fiona.
Thanks, Carolyn, and thanks for the question. Look, it's a really important one, and Carolyn mentioned that there's been a lot of work done just briefly then by the managers across recreation. One of the groups that has been working through this shutdown period has looked at this very question. They have developed a procedure that will allow our staff and volunteers to return to accessing our facilities. We are simply, though, not able to do that as part of the benefits program until we actually have a bit more space available in the facilities, as in restrictions easing sufficiently. As Carolyn mentioned, at the moment, spots in outdoor pools are disappearing for full days and for 2-day blocks and 4-day blocks within 5 to 10 minutes of opening for bookings. Staff and volunteers are more than welcome to access these facilities, but it will be as a paying customer at this time. As quickly as we can, though, we are committed to being able to provide it under the benefit of the staff and volunteer card. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Fiona. Look, I think Fiona's absolutely right. We really want to be able to reopen that up. Just the problem at the moment is there's just so little opportunity for our paying customers to actually get spots. And we always have had a commitment to our local governments that although we have our staff and volunteer benefits in terms of free access, we will never do that at the expense of paid customers. And so unfortunately, as it's our local government's asset, we have to respect that. So Jodie asked, there was a VEA meeting on Tuesday. What came out of it in relation to Learn to Swim? As of today, where does it stand specifically for King Swim? I know you said late November or pending news from Dan this week, but do you have a gut feel? I think, Jodie, it's like a crystal ball. My gut feel, in all honesty, is that Dan won't open it up until the end of November, and only because it is an indoor activity. And he's been, a Victorian government has been very specific about not opening up indoor activities. Now, I really hope to be wrong. I really hope to be wrong about that gut feel. But they have not given us any dates. And I'm on an industry meeting today and they still didn't give us any dates. So I'm sorry that that's not better news. Okay. Any staff and volunteer? Oh, any further information about staff and volunteer awards, Martina?
Take myself off mute. Yes, we have put forward our nominations to the Nationals, and we will be working very closely with them on getting the information back to our staff, and we will also be making the announcement at our award night. So our nominations have gone through to National. We will be letting everybody know what the outcome of that is, obviously, when it happens, but we will also be having our award night where all the announcements will be made.
Fabulous, thank you.
And in terms of the actual event, it's a bit of a watch this space.
Thank you, Martina. Is there any way for the Y to advocate louder for Mornington Peninsula to be regional instead of metro? Well, yes, I really wish that was the case because my parents live down there and I think it's crazy that it isn't. But no, I'm sorry. Sorry, does that mean that there's no YVic specific awards, only national, Martina? Oh, you're on mute, Martina, are you?
No, sorry, I had difficulty getting off mute. No, there's going to be both. We're going to have, but what we did this year, because of, we didn't want our people to miss out on the national awards, and with everything that had happened, we wanted to make sure that everyone had an opportunity to be recognised, not only in Victoria, but nationally. So because we're all in COVID and Zoom land, we did reduce the number of awards this year and made them more in line with our nationals. So we have put forward nominees through to national, and we still will have our Victorians awards as well. And that will be our Victorian event, which is happening the end of November. I haven't got the date in front of me, but the end of November.
Okay, well, we'll make sure we have that date next time.
Yes.
So you mentioned changes to business development department. What is our strategy to grow our business with changes, reductions to that department? So we're absolutely committed to business development. Part of our business development is, having new king swims and new child care early learning centres. As you can imagine, they're very highly dependent on having cash and startup costs. So on average, it takes us around 3 years when we start up a new king swim or an early learning centre to actually turn a surplus out of that. So unfortunately, at the moment, as we have to preserve cash for our recovery, we aren't in a position to be doing that sort of business development at the moment, and at least for sort of probably 12 months to 18 months in regard to that. However, unless we find other partners, which we have had a partner come forward to us that might actually assist us with that, but that would be on a benevolent terms. We will still, if there's tenders for OSHAs or there's tenders for any recreation, we will certainly be going for them. But what we're seeing at the moment is that local governments are asking for ministerial approval to extend out their contracts, including many of ours, because at the moment with COVID, particularly in Victoria, they're not going to get very competitive tenders. And so what we're seeing is a huge decrease in that tender volume at the moment. And so we've had to take that into account. So, okay. Oh, look, the Vic Awards are on Friday, the 20th of November, 4:30 till 5:30. Thank you, Fiona Criaris. That's very helpful. Okay, so let me just, I am actually trying to answer every question, and I've got 2 more left. Fiona, what is the structure in rec centre leadership teams?
What is the structure in rec centre leadership teams? Well, we have, it depends on the centre to a large extent, but what we have is obviously a centre manager who is responsible for the overarching centre and its operations and its customer engagement and customer management, as well as the people leadership. If it's a large centre, there may well be several people on that leadership team that could be up to 6 or 7 leaders within the leadership team. In a smaller centre, it may be that there are 3 leadership roles. It really does depend on the type of facility. It depends on whether it has aquatic as well as dry space. Needless to say, though, what we have done is we've created roles that have consistent titles and consistent remits across our facilities within the context, I guess, of different size centres, different size teams and different size membership. So I'm happy to provide more information about that. It's probably something that is fairly situational in terms of the next level of detail around that, but we have dedicated roles that are specific to the responsibilities that need to be undertaken. and particularly when within a risk environment where we're not only having requirements around COVID safety, but also obviously our patron safety in aquatic environments and dryland environments. So there are a number of layers, I guess, of leadership depending on the type of facility.
And
Thanks.
can I add to that, Fiona, that one of the good things too about having the same titles across all of our centres is as we strengthen and we get back and stabilise and strengthen back to where we want to be, this is a really good way to start career progression for our people as well, so that they'll have a really good understanding of the way that our leadership structure works within the rec centres. And you know, we are trying to really build that career to believe in, and this is a way that we can really have a really open approach to that, and people can understand how that they can develop their careers within the Y.
Thanks, Martina. Finally, are we able to have an update on the meaningful work or input Youth Affairs Subcommittee has recently performed? So one thing that the Youth Subcommittee have done is we have put a tender in with regard to our Latrobe Youth Centre. And obviously, well, actually, this is probably not obvious. We get grant funding from the departments within Victoria for that. And so therefore they have to go to tender with regard to it. And so the Youth Affairs Subcommittee have assisted us with that, and they have assisted us in regard to what the governance model for that is going to look like into the future. So that's one thing that they have done. Okay, fantastic. Well, that is the end of the questions. If you do have any more questions, please contact me or contact your manager or PNC. I know that 2020 continues to be so challenging. I don't think any of us ever dreamed we'd be in this position of having to close our business, have so many people still stood down and be making such difficult decisions. I think we're all really tired of lockdown and the unexpected changes COVID has created. The better news though in Victoria is that numbers are finally coming down. And I'm sure everyone is looking forward to more positive announcements this weekend for when industries can start to return to work. Importantly, so we can recommence and support the communities that we operate in. I really hope I'm giving you some better news next week. So look, thank you again, and please continue to care for each other as now more than ever. And thank you, Martina, Fiona, and I hope everybody enjoys the grand final weekend. All right, cheers.